Hello everyone. I'm back with my another presentation on Leadership Framework 2020, Transforming Accountant into a Strategic Leader. This is actually the part 2 of my video presentation. In part 1, I explained this leadership framework in detail. Now in this video presentation, I'm going to talk about why and how this leadership framework can help you and why it is important and how you can learn and practice it and how this leadership framework can prepare you for the future role of accounting and finance. So as you can see on your screens, this is the Leadership Framework 2020 that I presented in my first presentation, in my last video named From Accountant to Strategic Leader. This is the same leadership framework. There's some changes in the layout so that you can visualize it in a much more and effective way. It includes the 6 types of leadership that includes personal leadership, public leadership, technology, operational, strategic, and finally do financial leadership. If you have not yet watched my first video on this leadership framework, I recommend you to first watch that presentation and then come on to this part 2 so that you can understand it much better. So as I explained in my last presentation, it's all about the positive impact and influence. No matter which role you are in, either you're an accountant, senior accountant, chief accountant, controller, manager, finance manager, or a CFO. If you have the ability to create a positive and strong impact and influence, you're a leader, you're a strategic leader. And this framework can help you to reach to that level. So as you can see on your screen, these are the reasons why you should learn and practice this leadership framework 2020. Number one is rapid growth at personal level as well as at your professional level. Personal level, when we talk about, it all starts from your personal leadership, right? If you are able to influence or manage your own self, if you are able to have a strong impact on your own self and you establish a very good personal relationship with your family and with your peers, you can have a very successful and effective personal life because according to some survey, most of the successful corporate leaders, the CEOs and the CFOs and entrepreneurs, they have a very successful personal life. Then they have their successful careers and successful professions. So this leadership framework can help you for rapid growth at your personal level and at your professional level as well. Then the rapid career growth and personal branding to stand out of the crowd. Of course, if you are an accountant, and there are lots of professional accountant, professionally qualified accountant from different accountancy bodies in the world. So if you want to differentiate yourself from your peers and if you want to create a positive and strong impact, this leadership framework can help you to reach to that level. Then this leadership framework can help you to not only survive but also thrive in this wave of innovations and disruptions as a result of emerging technologies. These emerging technologies are surprising us on a day-to-day basis. Daily, there are some new developments that are radically changing the way we do our work, especially in accounting and finance. Most of our rule-based accounting work, the back office service of accounting and finance, is being taken over by these emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, chatbots. So in this leadership framework, if you see the technology leadership part, it can help you to deal with these technologies, to lead these technologies in your functions. Then to transform your accounting and finance function from the back-end service provider to a strategic enabling function. This leadership framework is a very multi-purpose framework. It cannot be used only by the individuals. It can also be used by the finance leaders to transform their accounting functions. For example, a finance leader, the CFO, or the head of finance on account, they can use this framework to conduct skills and gap analysis and use this framework as a benchmark to identify the skill gaps or the skill deficit in his finance team. For example, if his finance team they lack public leadership or operational or strategic leadership, they can give them some training on these leadership in order to become more effective and to help them to transform your finance function from the backend service provider to the strategic enabling function. Then, of course, as an individual, you can use this framework to transform yourself from bean counter, number cruncher to finance business partner, strategic advisor, and ultimately to the role of C-suite level. Then to meet the changing business needs and expectations from the professional accountants. As you know, from the last economic crisis and the dot-com bubble, the needs and expectations of the businesses from accountant has been changed drastically. They don't want the accountant only to talk about what has happened in the past or to present them with the financial statements and the financial reports, but they expect accountant to work more as a business partners or as a finance business partners. And that's what all about this framework is. And in order to transform yourself, in order to act as a business partner, finance business partner, you should have a very high level of operational and strategic leadership, right? If you understand the business, if you understand the markets, if you understand the strategy and the value creation part, and in the operational, if you understand the company's operations, of course, then you can only act as a finance business partner and you can meet the needs and expectations of your businesses. Then this will also help you to generate tremendous amount of value for your employers, for your client's business. Then it will give you an entrepreneurial mindset. When we talk about becoming a strategic leader, it's all about entrepreneurial mindset, that looking at the business from the strategic side and the operational side, not only from the accounting and the finance side. Then finally, to prepare you for the future role of finance, which I'm going to explain it now. So the future of, when we talk about future of accounting and finance role, there are some alarming predictions and statements made by some world's most renowned organizations, which I tried to summarize here in this slide. So the first statement is by the World Economic Forum. According to World Economic Forum's report on Jobs Landscape 2022, accountant and auditor jobs are amongst the top 10 declining jobs by 2022. And you know, this is mainly because of the emerging technologies, which are going to take over most of the rule-based and the routine and repetitive tasks the accounting and finance function that is mostly from the back office service provider. I will show you in the next slide some further reports from the World Economic Forum. Then the second statement is by the AICPA, that is American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, a very prestigious accounting body in the USA. Their CEO made an alarming prediction that the accounting industry could be negatively affected by changes in technology, losing more than 1 million jobs. So you can imagine how significant and how dramatic this impact is going to be. Then when we talk about some recruitment firm, that is one of the big recruitment firms for accounting and finance, that is Robert Half Management. According to their survey of 1,400 CFOs of companies of different sizes and industries, a vast majority expect senior accountants to have increasing amount of their time devoted to non-traditional functions such as strategic planning and information technology. So as you can see in this framework, of course, with strategic leadership and with technology leadership, you can meet the needs of these CFOs and these business leaders. Then the last statement is according to International Federation of Accountant, IFAC. According to them, a vision for the CFO and the finance function should be to move from accounting for the balance sheet to accounting for the business and value creation. So again, this leadership framework, it's all about creating the value, creating the impact and influence. So leadership framework can help you to prepare for this future role of accounting and finance. Now here are some reports that is from the World Economic Forum. According to them, they list out some skills which are growing and which are expected to decline. So in the growing side, you can see analytical thinking and innovation, active learning, creativity, technology, critical thinking, complex problem solving, leadership and influence, emotional intelligence, system analysis, reasoning, problem solving. So if you relate these skills, which are the emerging or the growing skills, and you can see in this leadership framework, we have almost covered all the skill set that is required for this future roles and for this changing and emerging skill sets that is required in the future. Then when we talk about the declining Skill set includes manual dexterity, memory, management of financial material resources, technology installation, reading, management, quality control, coordination, visual, technical use, monitoring, and control. And when we talk about the job landscape in 2022, this report is also issued by World Economic Forum, and they mention here some emerging roles and the declining roles. So as I mentioned in my previous slide, accountant and auditors, they are amongst the top 10 declining roles, and that's not very far. That's only in 2022. So you can see the data entry clerks, accounting, bookkeeping, accountants and auditors, material recording, 75 million jobs are going to be disrupted by 2022. And when we talk about top 10 emerging roles, include data analysis, AI, machine learning. It's all about the technology and the emerging technology, big data, digital transformation specialist, general and operations manager, sales, and marketing professional. So if we link this emerging roles with our leadership framework, of course, when we talk about leadership framework, there is technology leadership also in that one that will cover all these areas like big data, AI, new technology, information technology services, where you are not going to learn the programming languages or the technical parts. Rather, you have to collaborate with the technologists and the big data scientists to create a positive and long-lasting impact on your organizations. Then sales and marketing professionals, again, you are not supposed to learn the sales and marketing. Rather, being a strategic leader, or if you want to exercise the strategic leadership, obviously you have to collaborate with the sales and marketing functions and the sales and marketing professionals. So this leadership framework, what I wanted to explain in this presentation, is quite helpful for you to transform your career, even if you are an individual accountant or individual finance professional, or if you are a finance leader and looking to transform your accounting function and finance function. This leadership framework would be quite useful and helpful for you, and to prepare yourself for the future role of accounting and finance. And in my next coming videos, I will be explaining each of these boxes, each of these layers under each level and types of leadership, so that you can gain some further insights.